Hello, everybody. We're back again for our second episode for the Damned If We Do podcast. I'm here with the lovely
Jasper Peter Pershing.
Hello, Jasper.
Hello, Jessica.
How are you today?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, my day was being weird. I went to the library because, still don't have a job. And so I was, doing stuff there. And then I was like, I just can't be here. But I don't like to be at home. But then I came home. And my day is turning around. I'm currently baking.
Oh, what are we baking?
I am obsessed with making coffee cake.
Stop. I love coffee cake. I'm obsessed.
Especially, I don't know, a year ago, I'd be super depressed all the time. And if I felt like I could do, there's nothing I could do, but I can make coffee cake.
See, and that's what will keep you going.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I recently discovered too. I'm like, I can make anything and eat it.
And I have a lot of body, I have an autoimmune disease.
Right.
And so there's a lot of different kinds of foods that I can and can't have. So I've been on this journey of crafting a coffee cake that I can have that won't fuck me up.
I love that. Ooh, tell us how it goes. I want to hear about if you perfect the recipe.
I will. I can tell you, I now that we're recording, I won't, but I did nibble some of the batter and it's like
it's good.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Literally growing up, I loved coffee cake to the point where my mom was concerned because she's like, this is like a 5-year-old child who's eating coffee and drinking coffee, eating coffee cake and drinking coffee.
So how are you?
I've been doing good. I've been feeling I've been feeling very nostalgic. I've been reminiscing.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been feeling very grateful recently, and I've just been trying to be living in the moment. Yesterday, I had a very similar day to you, where I kind of I don't really know what I want to do, so I'm just gonna go out and walk around, see what's going on. I bought a beautiful ring that was
fantastic,
beautiful and not expensive, obviously. And I don't know, I've just been feeling really, really blessed and really grateful, and just thinking about where I want my life to be in a really positive way, not a negative way. So I've been happy about that one.
Well, Jessica, for today's topic, I really wanted you to intro it because it was something that we were sort of bordering on last week's, but then we found that it didn't work or whatever. So I really want to know about the topic, what made you want to talk about this. Bring us in. Yes.
Okay, so the topic that we were really discussing earlier was the fantasy of opportunity. And I feel like last week you really talked really eloquently about fantasy in general and how it's so tied into being an artist. This sort of idea of being a little delusional in order to get your sort of goals, in order to get your goals met. And I was just thinking about how we can take it a little further and think about the sort of fantasy of choice and how it is that we choose the opportunities that come into our life. How do we say yes and no, or do we at all say yes or no, or do we just kind of go with the flow and see what happens? So I guess I wanted to really start off and ask you just a broad question, Jasper. When was the last time you said yes to an opportunity and it ended up being something that you were really glad you said yes to?
Okay, so that's what I was just gonna say, because 2 days ago I said yes to an opportunity that I don't know how I feel about it.
Oh, okay.
But the last time I said yes to an opportunity, and are we talking the arts or just?
I think we can keep it open.
Okay. To be honest, I'll just say what's on my mind, which is in the arts. But oh my God, I'm so dumb. Last time I said yes to an opportunity was last weekend. My friends who are in the film industry invited me to work on this mini series with them. I went in blind because they're producers. They've done wonderful work before. And I had such a wonderful time reinforcing friendships with people who I hadn't seen in a year since the last project I had worked on with them. And it turned out to be something where it made me feel once again, like I'm going down the right path. And even though opportunities aren't coming yet, weekly, they are coming. And so I am just, that reinforced my narrative of being like, I belong as a person, as an artist. And so here I go.
Oh,
that would be it. Well, what about you?
That's kind of like really beautiful. I love what you said about it reinforcing like what you're here to do, reinforcing who you are as a person, because I've had a similar experience recently. I said yes to an opportunity like months ago where I'm part of like this writing group, right? And I said yes to that like way before, like earlier this year. And, you know, you never know where things are really going to lead you, I think. Because you meet people and you're suddenly like, oh my God, you're also an artist. Oh shit, like you also write. Okay. Wait, we kind of like what we do. So like, let's collaborate. And so I said yes to something like months ago, like at least 7 months ago. And now I see like the fruits of that sort of like labor. And so it's actually really nice when that happens because I feel the same way. It's like, oh, something that I said yes to like years ago is coming together now, and it almost makes you feel like you actually are on the right path, and that the past you actually knew something that the future you didn't know, right? And I think that's always so, I don't know, it just feels really good.
Or like in another way, it's like the you in the future did know. Right. But you in the present was like, do I?
Right. Oh, that's too. Yeah. It's like
there's so many. Can I say, tell me about it as your friend who you haven't said anything?
Oh yeah, I haven't said anything about it yet because they're still trying to figure out dates. But it's so lovely because I'm basically gonna be. We might not listen, but I'm basically gonna be writing. I'm writing a piece. Oh, I wrote a piece. That I did in like the writer group like a while ago, and they're basically setting up a time where we're all going to present our writing and stuff like that, and like cast it and stuff like that, and have people come in, and we're going to advertise. Like it's going to be really fun.
That's incredible.
And I feel like it's been a while. It's been a very long time since I've presented some of my own writing. I've mostly been acting in other people's stuff, and like that's like a really big thing that I've been wanting to do for a while now.
That's incredible. That is so exciting. See, listeners, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we can think that we're going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That we don't know what we're doing, that we're silly. And then, if you just push past that, so much can come from it.
Exactly.
It's incredible.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And that's why I was kind of, like, pondering on this notion of, like, the fantasy. Because there is a sort of, like, component of sort of idealizing the best solution or the best outcome for anything that happens, especially when you're a creative person, you're trying to have like your creative shit out in the open. You kind of have to imagine the best possible scenario and trust that that's going to happen.
You do. Absolutely. And you don't know what's going to come from it. Exactly.
You have no idea.
And it's interesting because we joke about fantasy also in thinking that it's delusion.
Yeah.
But there's something to it because it's what got us to where we are.
Right.
Both right now and also, you know, in the future, whatever that may be.
Whatever that entails.
You know, like that is what can just keep us going.
No, it's
together.
So true. I mean, this is going way back to college times, but like I remember when I was in college, and the first time, like we said before, viewers, Jasper and I met at like in a college program, like a way study program, and like I remember when I first decided to go, I basically got this really weird feeling like, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing right now, because I was supposed to go to France. And I was supposed to study French and, like, be all up in the Parisians and shit. And I had this, like, deep feeling, like, no, like, I need to do something else. Like, this is not what I want to be doing. And at that time, I was, like, really challenging myself to say, do I want to be a writer? Do I want to be an actor? Is this something that I want to do? Do I want to create stuff? And so I'm like, okay, well, if I do, let's at least put it to the test and try it. And mind you, it was crazy how it happened, how it ended up at NTI, because I basically missed a deadline. It was all this stuff. Like, I didn't have the right documentation. It was, I was sick as hell too. When I had to go and like vouch for myself in the office, and I was sick. And she was like, I don't do this for everybody, but I'll do it because you came in. And I was like, hell yes.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I knew that like it was a struggle, but I didn't know that part. That's incredible.
Yeah. And so when I finally did it, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to trust the best possible scenario. And just continue to say yes and.
Yes. Yes.
And that's when I met Jasper, and I met all these other wonderful people. So
I know. And just to revel in that I met you, like, it's also crazy because I did kind of think, okay, cool, like, I've met all of the people that I need. Now, of course, I'm aware you should always be open to friendships, whatever. But especially when it comes to you and some select other people there, like, it just came by such a surprise because I had thought I had finally cultivated this group, and I was like, if I invite more in, it's going to be more shit.
Whoa.
Because that was my high school, my middle school experience. And I just really didn't want that in college. And so then when you were so welcoming and just your spirit and energy, I didn't even have a choice.
You heard it here, folks. Okay, you didn't have a choice.
It's just like, it happened. Like, I was like, no, I literally didn't even know until I was like, both feet in, and I'm so happy about that too.
No, and I think that's the beautiful thing, because I felt the same way when I first met you. I was like, who is this tall, handsome man walking through the halls? When I first
not had a haircut.
What's so funny? I saw you and I was like, oh, he has to be a counselor here. I'm like, Jasper at that point looked so established. I was like, oh, he must be a counselor.
That's hilarious.
He must be teaching.
And it's just so funny because I'm like established. I was so insecure. Oh my god! I needed so much like artistic validation. It's almost crazy.
Oh, best believe that's another episode, because the artistic validation is real.
Actually, that's like so real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it comes to sort of like opportunities, like how do you come about like saying yes and trusting that sort of feeling?
Yes.
Like, do you need outside validation? Do you need to talk to other people about it? Like.
Yeah. And I also, there's a stress in saying yes or no because you feel like you have to do it on their time. And I mean this also, sure, there are deadlines, right? Like by the 8th, we need to know. But still, I feel like, okay, if by the 8th they need to know, I need to do my due diligence and making sure that the next 20 minutes, I have my decision. Mm-hmm. That's sort of like what I was alluding to when you first asked me when was the last time I'd say yes or no to an opportunity. They sent these contracts. And that also is a big thing about yes or no, specifically to artistic ones. Like, I still don't read them. And I actually do this thing where after I sign it and send it, then I read it.
Yeah, see, and that right there is going to get you in trouble, Lindsay.
Yeah, I'm done. Because I already told myself, like, if you're going to do theater, you're going to get money. Because for some reason in my mind, I'll tell you why. If I do a film for free, I still come up with a recorded professional thing. Theater, no. But here I am, signed that contract. And you know what? I'm going to gain a lot out of it. These people seem really nice. So it's really no shade to them. It was just like,
it's just sort of
when do you know? Also, because it's like, is this a future me thing?
Right.
Did I say yes because, oh my God, by the end of it, it changed my life?
True.
Or is it, oh no, you needed to learn this lesson because now you can't do other opportunities because you didn't do due diligence.
Due diligence, right. You really won't know until you get to that point. And that's the beautiful thing about being an artist. That's so crazy to say that, because so much of saying yes to something is this idea of delayed gratification. It's like this idea is like, is this going to get me where I want to be? Does this like align with my artistic goals? That's another big thing that I think when you're trying to make a decision, it's like, does this align with my artistic goals? And then how long will it take to align with my artistic goals if it is like positive, if it's a positive experience for me?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just all these questions, and nobody's like, it's just hard because obviously we're here right now having this conversation, but it always feels like you're the only one.
Yeah. It really
and I
feels
just
like
hate it.
I hate that too. Because especially if you're in a situation where, like, maybe your family aren't necessarily in artistic spaces, or you're not always, like, able to, convene with someone before you make a decision, you really feel like you're by yourself and making a big choice about the direction of your life. And I feel like that's a lot of people in the world, but it's a unique experience when you're creative, because you really, there's no, like, backing. There's no like, cushion.
No.
You really could be spending a bunch of time mulling over a choice, make the choice, and realize it was the worst possible thing for you, and now you're having to live with that choice for the next, like, 3 months.
Yeah, literally me. So, like, it's just like, but then I go, you know what? It's also the other side. You say yes to your opportunity. It's not your last opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, yes, for this moment, like, cool, this is what you've now agreed to, be a professional. But time is so slippery.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be okay. Yeah. It's not as if I said no to an HBO Max show.
Right.
Okay? That didn't happen.
That's what you're kind of have to set out yourself. You're like, oh.
Yeah. And I will be reading that contract. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess on the flip side, too, I wanted to ask, when is the last time you said no to an opportunity?
Yeah.
And was that aligned with what you needed at the time?
Yeah.
Did you end up regretting it?
Yeah. The last time that I said no to something, and it wasn't even artistic, it was actually, it's interesting, it was, but it wasn't in my field. So my family has a lot of friends who have galleries. Mm-hmm. They do all, and so growing up, you go to those because they're kind of like socials, like you catch up, and since they're also older, but they're in some artistic fields, sometimes it's like workshopping or, So I usually always say yes to those because I'm like, well, they always know someone who does what I do. And like, so maybe, but I realized, I don't want to go. And so it sounds really simple, but I had already convinced myself that in saying no, it would be fucking my future self.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go. Mm-hmm. So I did say no, and I did not think twice about it the minute I said it. That is when I know.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's when
you know.
And
then I was like, oh, wait. Oh, I don't, like, okay. And this is what's interesting. And I know I just said that, but let me tell you where I'm struggling.
Yeah.
In yes and no to opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should view if we were to hang out as an opportunity or not. Maybe we do, maybe we don't, I don't know. But lately I have people who are trying to hang out with me. And it's really hard to decide, do I have the spoons for 3 times in 1 week when I also am trying to dedicate myself to my writing to see them, plus not having a job, plus gas money? How do I do this? And I keep thinking it's going to be easy to just be like, oh, no, not this week.
No.
But no, because they also have a life. So it's like, then when I'm ready, like, okay, no, I am available. So sometimes I've been having to just be like, fuck it. Like, yeah, you don't want to, but you're going to have a good time if you do. And if you say no now, is it ever going to happen? Especially with one friend, I've canceled before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's because I don't like them. But I just, I'm
girl,
I haven't seen you in a long time. I don't know. Look, we're not like besties.
You're right.
So I'm like, but whatever, I'm doing it. But that friendship and yes and no's.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Has been very difficult for me lately.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because friendship yes and no's, I think, especially when you're in your early 20s, is the hardest thing to navigate, because you're constantly trying to, first of all, keep friends in your life, because you have to, if you want to stay friends with someone, you have to show up, you have to like make plans, you have to do those things. But at the same time, it's like you want to prioritize your career, your artistic goals, the things that you're looking at, and then you're wondering, how do I as a human being do that without burning myself out in just like 1 week?
Yes,
because it's so easy to.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So I do the artistic work, and then I'm tired, and then I'm not technically doing anything. And so it's like, Jasper, this is when you could be hanging out with Susan or whatever. But it's like, no, I'm actually just tired.
I just need downtime.
I just need to not.
No, that's
what about you?
real.
Like, when is the last time you said no to something where you then felt better for it or worse?
Oh, yeah. I think I recently said no to something, and it was a really nice opportunity. I'm not going to lie. And sometimes I, like, justify my no's by saying like you said before, like, oh, something better is going to come along. And that's an okay way sometimes, but not all the time. And I think for this particular no, I do still kind of, like, think, damn, I really should have just, like, did it. But I think at the time, I was in a place where I had just finished up doing something else. And then I was also working on a lot of writing and working on negotiating another contract. And so it was one of those situations where I was like, I'm not going to have time to really dedicate to this piece. And I'm the type of person where if I don't feel like my whole foot can be in it, I don't want to dip a toe, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that I'll have to learn, like learning how to dip toes instead of putting whole feet in. But, you know, it's part of my journey.
And it's something we shouldn't have to. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating because as an artist, I mean, you kind of have to be a multitasker. It doesn't matter, like, what the situation is. You're always doing at least, like, 3 things at once. And you kind of have to be able to designate enough time to do those things within a week, a day, a month, whatever it is. But then, you know, I always think about, you know, recently this, like, article came out about these women, these amazing, like, professors, these Black women who dedicated all their lives to the institution of academia, and they pass away suddenly. How much of themselves did they give to these jobs to the point where all their life force was taken from them, and then by the time that they were able to retire, or even before they were able to retire, they pass away. And it's like, these are women at, like, the top of their field too. And so I always try to keep multiple things in perspective at once, because obviously I'm young. I want to take on as many opportunities as possible, and I want to make sure that I get as much experience as I possibly can. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I'm also in this for the long haul. I'm not trying to be burnt out by 27. I want 27 to be the time when shit starts really coming together, you know?
Yes, me too.
And I want to be able to show up for that in a way that feels good for me and makes me feel like I'm my best self. So I always think about it in that way as well. Although I will say I am still pretty impulsive. So I will still make a decision and be like, ah, shit. Whoops. Maybe I shouldn't have said yes to that.
And that's so human.
Yeah.
So human.
It really is.
And honestly, like, I've met so many people who aren't even aware of their impulsiveness and when they are and when they're not. Like, the fact that you are means you're doing fields of mental work that some of us just aren't right now, which is also cool.
Yeah, that's
But so
fine.
be proud of that. Yeah, like, fuck it, you know? I'm impulsive too.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta fucking do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have to just be like, you know what, bitch? Like, get up, get out the bed, and go to that party tonight. Go have some fun, because, you know, you've been missing out on having fun.
So real.
I have a friend who does, like, a lot of, she, like, hosts a lot of parties and stuff like that. And she's just so amazing at what she does. And I'm, like, always wondering, how does she have so much energy for the midnight parties? And I'm just like, girl, get out and go do it. But then also, I am an introvert at the end of the day. So, so it's like, girl, you say that, and then you're like, no, but really, I just want to be inside and, like, read a book or watch a show.
No, me too. Like, I love a party, but I only love a party when it's, like, a block away. And
my god!
So I can leave when I want, and no one will care, which is, like, not real. So
it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic at this age. People want you to say hi to everyone, bye to everybody.
Yeah. Because someone's going to think that you hate them, and which is just their own fucking BS and narcissism, but whatever.
Own projection.
I'm just going to have to do it.
You really have to have strong boundaries. Like, you really just got to be like... That's something that I always love about you, Jasper, too, because you always know when to be like, actually, no. I don't want to do that.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
And it's always easier when it's a friend because, and I don't mean a friend saying no to you as a boundary, but because, if I say this, maybe this will empower them. But really, if you weren't there, who knows? I literally have been talking to people in a language. I was like, I don't have the spoons. I only have enough to deal with myself. Or I remember there was a moment when I was with some friends, we were kind of like egging each other on, and then it turned kind of argumentative.
Oh.
And I remember in the end, I just said, you know what? The spoons that I have left are going to make me the person that I don't want to be for you. I got to go.
That's real. That's knowing yourself.
Because then it was like, it was like, no. I actually cannot control what you're saying, how you're saying it. I can do that for me.
Yeah.
Maybe not in this moment, which is why I'm going to go, ooh.
Yep.
Which is why I'm going to leave. Yeah, exactly. Yep. But it's really hard.
It's super hard to do something like that, especially when you love the person a lot. But I'm also the type of person where, like, give me time to miss you.
Yeah.
I love you. I care about you. I want our relationship to last. But also, I want to be able to miss you. I want us to, like, spend time, like, nurturing ourselves, come back together, and realize, what have you been up to? I've just been doing this, and I want to be able to, like, support you in that. That's just me, not a lot of people fucks with that in that way. But that's okay.
No, but it's so real because it's like, I don't want to resent you, and also I'm tired, so, like, like, goodbye, but it's just so that when I see you, I can be excited to see
for you. Exactly. No, that's what it is.
Very real.
It's super real. It's super
and very honest.
So we have one more minute left.
All right.
Do you want to give any final remarks?
I think as a closing, you never know, but at the same time, you know. And it is kind of confusing, and that's how I'm going to leave it because I have no other way of leaving it.
I love it. Elusive, but very mysterious. And leaves us wanting more. Because that's all what saying yes and no is. Will this do good in our future? Will this help me? I don't fucking know. Who knows?
I'm just going to align with my values.
Yeah.
Or hope you are.
Hope that value is.
You know your values.
Yeah.
I've had to question that too.
Ooh, that's
what about you? Do you have any closing words?
I think my closing word would be trust the present because the future isn't here, the past isn't here. Trust how you feel right now because usually how you feel right now is the intention of where you're going to go. And like you said, I feel like it's so important to write down your values as an artist. Even if it's just in a quick little sketchbook, like, I value this, I value that, I value, get it down on paper or just have it in your head so you know when the opportunity comes, you know why you're saying yes or you know why you're saying no. Maybe you don't necessarily know what it's going to lead to, but at least you can say, it's because of this value. Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to today's episode.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week for another episode. So stay tuned.
Ta-ta!
Ta-ta for now. Bye!